Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Capricorn moon signs, or for those with significant Capricorn placements and are needing a feminine energy to work with or balance within yourself. Or, which I've just been noticing personally, that sometimes these readings can be relevant for you when the moon is in the sign that the reading is for. So we just had a Capricorn full moon, but we're also going to be having another Capricorn full moon at the end of Cancer season. So two Capricorn full moons sort of beginning and ending Cancer season. So I feel like this might be sort of a reading for the next month ahead, regardless of what sign you're in. So it kind of feels collective, but I'm just going to leave it as a Capricorn moon title. So there's one story coming in before we pull the cards. This is just sort of like the story that I was being reminded of that perhaps has relevance to the reading, but we'll see. I haven't pulled the cards yet. Which was sort of like this thing that happened to me. I was traveling with my sisters. I have two younger sisters. I was traveling with them. We were on vacation. And this was maybe like the first or second day that we were on vacation. And we were eating in this like food court, but it was relatively empty. It wasn't busy. There was a lot of open space around us and it was very quiet. And I just had this feeling like while we were eating that something was off. And so I looked down where I had placed my bag on the chair next to me and my bag was missing. Which was a very alarming event. Because in my bag, I was carrying like all the passports, all of the cash that we had, like, and in a different country, right? So it was like a bit like a scare is kind of how it's coming through. And so I stood up immediately and I saw a man walking by very calmly and in his hand was my bag. So I stood up, I yelled, I said like, hey, and basically like that's all I needed to say. And the man just like calmly put the bag down and walked away. And so it was a crisis that was averted. That's the message that is coming through for you with that story of like, I feel like maybe there's something here about like your intuition is perhaps alerting you to something that I want to say that it is trying to align energies that haven't, or that need a little bit of adjustment is how it's coming through. Because what happened after that event, I got my bag back. Thankfully, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Everything was fine. But it encouraged me to actually like, not that I was holding on to all of the resources, for example, but it was also giving sort of more responsibility onto my sisters as well. So that if something like that happens again, like, so say somebody gets, like something becomes lost or like something gets stolen or whatever, it's like, wouldn't affect everybody, if that makes sense. It would be like other people could help to support somebody who perhaps has something negative happen. I don't know. Anyway, Capricorn. And it's also coming through like this, where it's like, I feel like there may be sort of an event happening. I don't know if it's past, present, or future, where it's like something like a little bump in the road that perhaps gets you to pay attention to something. But that is not actually meant for it to be sort of like an actual emergency, if that makes sense. It's just sort of like a bump to get you to do something that perhaps hasn't been no, it's not phrased like that. Hold on. It's trying to connect you more to what your intuition sounds like. That's how it's coming through. Because it's feeling like there's an aspect of your intuition that is sort of coming online that is perhaps has to do with like your personal safety or resources, especially in terms of like collaborating with another person. So it could be something like that. So that's one story. A second story, which kind of feels like less intense, but it is coming through as well, of being sort of like, when I first got my car, which was a few years ago now, but when I first got my car, obviously I was very excited about it. And it was like the first week of it where I was just driving. I went somewhere, I parked the car, and I was doing this thing where I was parking sort of like far away in like spaces where there was like a lot of empty space so that like no one would park beside me, that kind of thing. Because I was like really hyper worried about it getting damaged the first week that I got it. And of course, there was this one day where I parked and somebody pulled up beside me, like parked right next to me. And so my intuition was telling me maybe I should park somewhere else. I did not listen to it. And what happened was that person, it was an accident because there was like a really strong wind. Their car door opened into my car, my brand new car. And I was upset about it, right? Because it was something that I was purposely safeguarding against. So that story is coming through as being sort of like, always listen to your intuition. And I feel like there may be something here about like, if you're unsure about something, whether or not that's intuition or if that's anxiety or if it's worry, because sometimes intuition does alert you to something that could potentially not be beneficial to you. And so that could feel like anxiety, but there is a difference, right? There's a difference in what that feels like. So it might be feeling like there may be like an event or something that happens, or perhaps something where your intuition is being confirmed, whether or not that's sort of like I feel like it's not something that's actually going to be sort of like really negative consequences, if that makes sense. It's kind of just like a little bump or a little tap, a little like, there's no crisis, but it's like a crisis avoided. And that can also be sort of confirmation, if that makes sense. I was also getting this like with that whole like traveling story where my bag was almost stolen. It was also kind of coming through as being sort of like, after this event happens or whatever it is, I felt in that past story, I felt like really almost like guilty about it, or like anxious about it after the fact, because I was so worried about like, what if that thing had actually happened? What if I had lost all of the money, all of our passports, like, and we were like on day 2 of our trip, like, so it's kind of coming through like that, where try not to feel any shame about this, or guilt, or fear, or like self-judgment is how it's coming through, because it's just something that is like, first of all, I feel like it's not going to be your fault, right? Like whatever event this is, it's not something that you have control over. That's what it is. It's like not something that you have control over. So there's no reason for you to like feel any sort of like self-judgment, or like, it's coming through as like post-anxiety of like a what if situation, right? So it's kind of just like perhaps like integrating some sort of lesson, or maybe a course correction, or in the end, though, I feel like it's meant to be sort of like showing you confirmation of your intuitive gifts. That's what it's coming through with. So it's a long intro for this reading, Capricorn, but we're going to pull the cards out now. So what else wants to come through? Okay, the moon card. Weren't we just okay, so we were just talking about the full moon, right? The two full moons in Capricorn. So I feel like this is going to be sort of like it's almost like a closed system is how it feels to me. So we just passed the first full moon. The second full moon, I feel like, is going to, like, within a very short period of time, which is like the next month, there's going to be like a very gentle course correction that I feel like has to do with helping you with some sort of long-term goal or something like that. It's a gentle course correction, though. It's wanting to come through as gentle. It's not going to be something that's like a really big deal. But it might be related to something that you are afraid of, or something that's like sort of like, it feels like a really worst case scenario thing, but it's not. It's just like a gentle correction. Saturn energy can be kind of like that, right? Like, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. I also feel that in this time you may actually be getting a gift of some sort, or like despicable face coming out next. You may be getting like a gift, but there may be worry about the gift that you're receiving, because it could be something that's like very precious, right? Like, or that's something that you want to take care of, or like something about like personal responsibility for something, like being responsible for something or having responsibility. It could have to do with that, especially with Saturn. It's coming through with like a little gentle course correction in order to like help you to take care of whatever gift it is that you're receiving. That's how it's coming through. Okay, despicable face coming out next. This card talks about, it does talk about shame actually, which is interesting, but it's in terms of like, there's something that maybe you feel like shame about is how it's coming through, but that it's actually something that is really lovely and deserves to be brought out into the light is how it's coming through. What is hidden, unaccepted, or shamed? The despicable face is never seen. Rather, it is kept in hiding to save outward appearances. It is kept in hiding to save outward appearances. This card appears when something below the surface wants to be witnessed in order to be transformed. Everyone has their own version of the despicable face and their own reasons for assuming it is an abomination. It could be a buried resentment, an insecurity, or a physical characteristic that holds us back from expressing our true self. Remarkably, once revealed, it is not despicable at all. It is human. It is interesting. What once was thought as an error becomes an asset on our journey of alchemical transformation. This card connects us to others and to humanity as a whole. Through acceptance, we lift the veil of perfection and reclaim our energy. Honesty and acceptance are the balm that heals the most tender of wounds. So it is talking about acceptance of something. Acceptance of something about yourself, perhaps, that maybe that there's shame associated with it, or that it feels kind of like this is something that you don't like to tell other people because it has shame associated with it. You also have Summer at the bottom of the deck and Copper, which is really lovely. This is the Venus card. The Summer talks about full bloom as well. So it could be something that what was I going to say about the despicable face? I don't know. I'm not sure what... I don't know what it is, honestly. Okay, the Nightingale. This is also another moon energy. So this card talks about expressing some sort of desire, right? It's the connection between the heart and the throat. So expressing some sort of desire that you have, especially with the moon card coming up, there could be something that you are being encouraged to express or to like bring out into the light in whatever way that is. It doesn't have to be like to the whole world, right? It just feels like perhaps just to yourself or to another person or something like that. Who do you trust most in the world? I feel like that it's like there's something about like somebody that you trust needs to know about this is how it's feeling. Maybe not needs to, but like it would perhaps help them to understand you better is how that's coming through. The Moth. This card came out in yesterday's reading too. Elephant at the bottom of the deck. If you look at this card as well, like there's with the Summer card, there's this like little red dot there. Again, that feels kind of like something that perhaps needs attention in some way. Or that is getting your attention in some way. It's alerting you to something. Perhaps alerting you to something that, perhaps something that you desire but haven't been listening to, or with the despicable face, perhaps there's like an energy of like, feeling shame about what you desire. With the Moth as well, because this card talks about like thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. Like that. So it can talk about comparison, right? Like comparing yourself to somebody else or thinking that other people have more than what you have. Or like not appreciating what you have is kind of how it's coming through. So maybe there's something like that about like, because it's coming out underneath the despicable face of like not appreciating or accepting something that you have. Because maybe there's sort of like, you're seeing somebody else with something else, or you're seeing, I don't know. Or feeling, I don't know, feeling ashamed about what you have. It could be like a gift or something, right? Like it's like... Anyways, okay. I'm gonna pull a card from the There Are No Coincidences. Water. Water has been such a big theme recently. So pay attention to your dreams. You may be having like really intense dreams in the next month or so. We're also in Cancer season, so it's kind of bringing in this energy as well. It could be something about emotional nourishment, like what is nourishing to you emotionally, and what is very nurturing as well, because we are in Cancer season. So is there something that is an emotional need that you have, maybe, or perhaps that you were like shamed about from your past or something like that? Like somebody made you feel shame about something that is actually like a need or emotional nourishment. The Blades. So the pick a card reading that I did a few days ago might be helpful to you. Again, this card talks about responsibility, actually, or like, for example, if you're going to learn how to like cook or use a knife or whatever, that kind of thing, or like a sharp blade, it does take a level of responsibility and practice and caution. So it's kind of coming through like that. Like maybe there's something that you're learning or that requires some responsibility or discipline, which is interesting because I actually feel like you're going to be receiving something, but that it, like the first, I don't know, there's like a gentle correction, right? Just to like help you learn something, whatever that is. Stones at the bottom of the deck. Again, if there is sort of like a gentle correction, it's not to shame you. It's to teach you something. But I feel like it's also going to benefit you in the long term, like or that there's like some sort of collaboration, maybe, or it's I don't know, because it's coming through like when I was with my sisters, right? Like there was a lot of burden being placed on me as the oldest to sort of carry everything or to like make sure everything was like that kind of energy. So it actually could be that there's like some responsibility is being placed on others as well, so that you're not the only one carrying some sort of responsibility that may be, I don't know, in some way like not in alignment with you, is how it's feeling. So it could be that you're actually distributing some of your responsibilities to others so that you could focus on something else. I don't know. Justice card coming out first. Oh, the Justice card. So balancing something. There's some sort of balance. Page of Wands in reverse. Queen of Swords. Interesting. Page of Wands in reverse. So that could be somebody who's like, it coming up with the Queen of Swords, I feel like it's kind of like a shift into like taking something more seriously. Sorry, sometimes I laugh when I feel uncomfortable. Taking something more seriously here with the King of Cups as well. Especially in terms of like emotional responsibility. I do feel though that like, so there is a lot of Saturn energy coming through, right? Because we're in the Capricorn full moon. But this Justice card, because it comes through with Libra energy, with the Queen of Swords as well, Libra is a square to Capricorn. So there may be a Libra energy that's helping to balance something, but it may feel kind of like a gentle tap, right? To like get you into the like the right alignment for something. Because this elephant now, because this one talks to me about like trusting in the process, that I feel like if there's something that is not in alignment with you, your path is going to be diverted, is how it's feeling. So it's feeling like if there's something that's not in alignment, it's almost like you're going to be steered in a different direction, or that there's going to be like, again, a course correction of some sort. And to trust the process. It's not anything that needs to feel like shamed about. I really want to like drive that point home. It's not anything that anyone should feel ashamed about. But there may be that feeling. So it's just like accepting, especially with the King of Cups, accepting that that's how you feel. And then working through it. Emotional responsibility keeps wanting to come through. And then 3 of Wands. Yeah, so whatever this like course correction is actually like aligning you to something that you want, right? Like that's actually a manifestation that you want, or like some sort of a responsibility. Because it's kind of like with that car story where like the first week I had my car, it got sort of like damaged, let's say. But then after that, it's kind of like it released the pressure and the worry that I had about like my car getting damaged. So it's kind of like it takes the pressure off, is how it's coming through. Whatever this little bump in the road is, it takes the pressure off. Temperance. The number 14 might be significant synchronicity for you. Like 1414. This Temperance card does talk to me about like it's more of a watery energy than it is fire. So it talks about transforming something emotionally, is how it's coming through, like being able to work through some sort of uncomfortable emotions. And then the 4 of Wands, which is really nice. So it is a celebration. I do feel that it's also kind of like a long-term like stability or responsibility or something like that. Because it is a Capricorn energy, it's like it's talking about like achievement or success or long-term abundance in whatever way. The thing about Capricorn energy, which is very unique, of course, is that Capricorn is a earth, right? So very stable, but it's the cardinal earth. So cardinal energy is very like, it's starting new things or like growing new things or taking action on things as well. So again, you have a lot of wands and water. So water is an element that helps earth change or perhaps clearing something out as well, like cleansing something. Six of Cups. So perhaps there's a significant Six of Cups to me is generally, of course, so it could be something from the past, but it also feels like a soulmate of some sort. Doesn't have to be romantic, right? Like friendships or something like that. A significant friend perhaps may be helping with this process of like clearing something out or helping somebody to clear something. Emotionally, maybe, that has something to do with the past. Seven of Swords. Okay, so this is a very unique Seven of Swords. It talks about somebody who it talks about this energy of actually, like, again, it's all this sort of like the despicable face, like something perhaps that you're ashamed of or that you don't want others to see. And so when this energy comes through, it's like kind of like maybe somebody feeling unsafe about sharing something, or like it could be related to insecurity of some sort, or that like that other person doesn't have, or I don't know. So there may be comparison happening. Like you're comparing yourself or what you have to somebody else and thinking that that person has more than you, right? Like that, it could be something like that. And when we have that energy, it can cause us to like doubt ourselves or to like run from opportunities or like, oh, that person's not going to accept me, so I'm just going to run. This is what this card talks about. So it's like, especially if it has to do with any sort of like perhaps emotional intimacy as well, with the moon and water and like but it's coming out with swords, right? Like there maybe there's someone in this dynamic who's like thinking a lot about well, now I'm seeing this as like the person who tried to take my bag. That's interesting. Because this is how it looked to me when I was looking at this person. It's like this person, I only saw their back and what was mine that was in their hand. So maybe there is something happening where it's like your intuition is telling you something about somebody that is being confirmed. But with the Seven of Swords, there is always a caution here of is somebody self-sabotaging, right? Like they're sabotaging themselves because they perhaps have a vibration of they're not accepting something about themselves, right? Like not it's coming through like self-rejection, right? Like rejecting something about themselves because they think somebody else has more. So this energy could be corrected as well, where it's like nudging somebody into alignment with their truth is how it's coming through. Like, and the Two of Cups. Well, that's really positive. So it could be like, again, Two of Cups talks to me about emotional intimacy as well. There's a lot of that energy in this reading where it's like perhaps sharing something that you feel vulnerable about. It sounds coming through. Something that makes you feel vulnerable, or that like you don't tell people this about yourself. I feel like whatever it is, though, is going to be accepted by the other person. If there is any, like, fear about that, or just, like, it's not fear, it feels like shame or worry about something not being accepted, I feel that it will be. It's just a matter of sort of like, first of all, you have to accept this part of yourself. King of Swords. So you have the King and Queen of Swords out. So the Queen of Swords can be somebody who has like gone through difficulty or loss, and so has sort of like can have like a bit of a sharp way of expressing, right, in order to protect oneself. So that could be part of like, that could be a dynamic here. You have here the King of Swords, though, who out of all the King of Swords, this one seems to me the most like willing to listen is how it's coming through. So there could be something about like, if there's a specific dynamic here, whether that's friendship or romantic or whatever, it's like there's somebody here who is willing to listen to whatever it is that's happening here about like self rejection or something that they perhaps feel ashamed about. The Sun at the bottom of the deck and the Summer card. Because underneath the Sun you have the Ten of Swords, which is a really tough ending, right? Like a tough cycle or lesson that was learned. But I feel like with the Sun card, it's talking about like hope or a new beginning. Hope or a new beginning. Can I have one more card? The King of Swords can also be one who does sort of like a course correction, right? But I feel what's interesting about this one here is that the sword's sort of like in place, right? The sword's not coming out here. It sounds coming through. Meaning I feel like it's gentle. It's not going to be a sharp correction. It's a gentle one. And I want to phrase that like again, blades are really important. There's the King of Swords upright is one that's like very precise. Uses their words with intention and is not going to cause harm in terms of like intention, if that makes sense. It's like, and the sword is away here. It's not out, it's not sharp. It's almost like they don't even need to use the sword, is how it's coming through. They don't even need to use the sword in order to it's almost like one word is enough to stop that energy or correct that energy. Two of Pentacles. So that card talks to me about like having to balance something, but it's tricky. It's not easy. And this one also kind of comes through with this energy of like it's like feeling tied up by something. Four of Cups. Well, that's the grass is greener on the other side energy, right? So it could be something about like maybe somebody's feeling like unsatisfied with what they have. And I want to say that that's an energy that needs to be worked through of like, why do you feel that way about what you have? What is it that you feel that you don't have? Because that's what's coming, like that's what's being focused on. What is it that you feel that you don't have that perhaps you need or that you desire in some way? With the Nightingale, like something that your heart needs or it's a heart-centered energy that needs to be expressed is how that's coming through. Queen of Wands. This is an energy of creativity for me, or like your ability to manifest and create and attract the experiences that you want to have. That's what this Queen of Wands talks to me about. So it could be something about like, because the Page of Wands came out in reverse, right? That was one of the beginning cards. Again, that's sort of something that I feel like needs to be, like whatever area this is sort of applying to you in, it's like that it has to do with the Page of Wands energy. So perhaps, but it's like you perhaps want to be at the Queen of Wands is how it's coming through. So some sort of aspect of creativity or attraction, like being able to attract the energies that you want. And the Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Okay. There may have been something in the past where there was like rejection, or with the Five of Swords, again, that sort of energy of like shame associated with whatever this thing is. Like somebody perhaps shamed you about something that has to do with whatever this Queen of Swords energy is, and like perhaps a responsibility or something that you are responsible for that perhaps, I don't know, ended like in a difficult energy, and it's like there may be some anxiety about that lingering still, like being anxious about, I don't know, about that past energy. So, with the moth, very important not to compare oneself to another person. And there's also something about like self-acceptance, right? Like accepting some aspect of yourself. So it says here, the moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. So when in balance, it's enthusiastic and whimsical. When out of balance, idealizes others and jittery. To bring into balance, finish a project. So it could be it feels like it's creativity, because the moth, to me, both of these are air. The two animal cards that you got are air, but this one's drawn to fire, right? So it could be inspiration related or creativity related, or like having good ideas, or you could have a really great idea, but maybe there's like difficulty in like finishing it or like following through with it is how it's coming through. Okay, I'm gonna get just one more card to finish this reading. The Rain Fecundity card. So I feel like there is something like a new idea here, right? Like a new thing that's being created or focused on. It's interesting that it's coming out with the rain though, because I feel like it is, and it's starting to rain right now. Maybe a bit of your fire is being rained on is how it's coming through. As sort of like a course correction. It's not coming through as a punishment. It's not coming through as like you did something wrong or anything like that. It's just coming through as like being cautious about your alignment is how it's coming through. Being cautious about your alignment. It's a gentle tap, a little bump in the road. But that whatever it is that you're growing or focusing on, it is safe. It is moving forward. It's kind of like there was almost like so imagine if you have like a boat, and it's like there was, I don't know, like it's like just making sure that there are no leaks in the boat is how it's coming through. There's no leaks, right? That's sort of how it's feeling to me, like making sure there's no it's another word. It's like testing the security system. The universe is testing the security system is how it's coming through, to make sure that there's like no leaks. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. I hope this reading helps somebody. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.